Hello guys, welcome to another tutorial today, or another class. As you know guys, while we wait for another players, we are going to create a multiplayer room, so please join to the multiplayer room in game. As you are seeing right now in your screen, you will be able to check the UID, okay? So I'm going to create a multiplayer room just while we wait for other players to join, okay? Remember that we are going to give to them just 10 minutes. I think that's enough time to actually get enough players, okay? Today we are going to play another game. So, yep, join to the multiplayer room, guys. I don't know how many of you are right now. Right here. Okay, so don't forget to join to the multiplayer room while we wait for more players. Guys, a friendly reminder, remember that we are just in the waiting room in the game. So if you want to access and play with me, just access to the room number 2769323. So we are going to start at 6:15. We are just giving 15 minutes to the players to join. Thank you. Guys, another reminder, remember that we are just in the gaming game, so you can access to this specific room and we will be able to play while we wait for other players to join, okay? So yeah, don't wait more time, join to the room. Hello guys, how are you? We are just waiting for another players to join. In the meanwhile, I'm just playing here. If you want to just access to this room, just type my UID on the on MiniWord and you will be able to actually access to this map. Okay, so yeah, we are just waiting 5 minutes more actually until we have enough players. And yep. Oh, I see. Okay guys, also remember that at the beginning of the class we are going to have some time just to be able to resolve some basic questions. Also remember about the Discord channel, which actually is it's going to be available all the week and I already answering some of your questions in this channel. Okay guys, so yeah, we're waiting 5 minutes more to start the class. Okay. Also remember that the chat is right now live, it's working. So if you have any question or you want to make any suggestion or you want just comment something about your day or just send greetings, remember that you can use the live chat, okay? Okay guys, We're almost ready to go, 3 minutes more. Okay, guys, we are going to wait 1 minute more. God, I got killed. All right. Okay, guys, I want to be sure that actually the streaming is loading. So please just do any comment and I will be sure that actually the streaming is working, okay? Okay, guys, so it seems that in 1 minute we are going to start and I want to know if you can see me, guys, and if you can hear me also. I just want to do a double check, okay? Okay, guys, so we are ready, we are ready to start the class, okay? So I just want to be sure that you are able to hear me and also to see me. So I'm going to write down in the chat, I'm going to type something. I need you to just say me if you can hear me because I have some I'm not sure that actually I'm just streaming, so I want to be sure. Okay, so okay, guys, so I just want to know if some of you are connected. I just want to be sure. All right, yes, it seems that I'm connected according to my streaming. So guys, don't be shy if you have any question. I see that some of you have some questions because you weren't able to complete the exercise to just do the checkpoints, right, guys? Okay, guys, so I want to be sure that I can start the class. So let me know if you can hear me or you can see me. I just need to be sure because if I doesn't, I will have to start the class again, okay? So yeah, let me know if you can hear me, guys. Just type something, type hello in the chat. Okay, So let's do this. While I wait for you guys to answer it, or to see if any of you are connected right now, I'm going to start by showing you some specific introductions. Remember that all the classes are going to show you some specific information about the class. Okay, so by starting the class, okay guys, so today, as we already know some basic triggers, we are going to start to working with scripts. Very important guys, I'm going to explain everything, and I'm also going to provide you some basic codes, some codes that you will be used for any game, also for this one, but this is like a starting pack that I'm going to give you for free and that you can implement in your maps just in some minutes. So yeah, important things about the class, we are going to take, or we already take 15 minutes for the waiting room. It's just to have enough time to wait for the other players to join. We also have some objectives scheduled for this class, and it's going to be the one that you see below. We are going to have some time to check just the homework that you did and to check if actually everything is working for your checkpoints. Second one, by starting the class, we are going to enhance the triggers that we see yesterday. We are going to actually make the trigger word to count the laps and also to just win or won when you complete certain amount of laps. Also, we are going to show some sounds to the player and some effects just to make it cooler. Important things, we are going to start with triggers for dummies. That means that we are going to learn how to use dummies and also triggers. Never mind, it's just triggers. Okay, and also we are going to learn a couple of things about how to import triggers. That's very important because something special about triggers is that you actually can import triggers from another person, and that's going to save you some time also from your own maps. Imagine that you make an own system to, I don't know, some specific skills that you can reuse in other maps. You only need to copy and paste and you will have the same skills in the other map. Also, we are going to create some basic skills and we are going to have an introduction to random items. So we will be able to create random items around the road, okay? So all the class is going to take 2 hours. Very important for you guys, as always, I need you to have a piece of paper. And if you can use your computer in one side and also you can open MiniWord on that computer, it's going to be nice because we are going to use MiniWord. It's very important that also if you can have access to YouTube in your phone, you can check both of them at the same time and we will be, it's going to be easier for you to edit and to just take attention and understand better how it works, okay? Another reminder guys, remember that we are doing the contest with some prizes for the winners, for some rewards for saying like that. Remember that the only thing that you need to do is to assist to all the classes. Also remember that in the same channel, in Multiverse Editor, you are going to find the link to the other and the previous classes. Also, I'm going to submit like a short video with the tutorial. I'm going to actually cut off all the parts that are not necessary for this class and resubmit as a video. So if you want to just go back and check those videos, you can do it anytime, okay? Something about the deadlines. Again, remember that on May 9, we are going to start by submitting the works. That means in 4 days. You have until May 16 to just submit your map, and I personally going to review those maps on May 17 to May 20, okay? Some rewards again, I'm not going to cover that much time for this because we already covered this previously, but there are the basics awards that you can win just by assisting to the class, okay? So, remember, quick things, we have a excellent award, we have a best learning award, the most creative one. We also have one specific award for the one of you that actually make the best or the best process, okay, or the best deal. All right, so probably you noticed that I'm writing in the chat in my personal account. So yeah, Jesuit, the person that is in the chat is myself again. I am too. So don't worry for that. Important thing, guys. Right now we are going to access or start just 5 seconds, or let's give 5 minutes, okay? For my 5 minutes, I'm going to answer your questions. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. about the process that we followed the day before. That means yesterday. So if you find out some problems when you try to set up your checkpoints, we can cover that very quickly and just do an extra explanation about it, okay? So I'm just reading the chat, guys, and let me know if you have any questions. I see that some of you, as an example, one player that I was playing with, that was Noob Pro, has some problems trying to set up this, and that wasn't working. So I just want to know if you want to have an extra explanation for that topic. I just want to be sure that you understand and you will be able to set up your checkpoints, guys, okay? All right. So I'm not seeing any comments right now in the chat about it. Just remember that if you can check this information right now. Oh, I see. So you need to leave. Okay, don't worry, Kenzie. Remember that you can access later to that video. And I know for sure that you are doing an amazing job because yesterday we checked your map and wow, the Teddy map was amazing. So yeah, just come back later and check the video again. Remember that this is going to be safe on the same channel. So I hope you have an excellent class, okay? So now we are going to start again. And yeah, as I see that none of you guys have questions for this, we are going to switch to MiniWord and we are going to do a quick review about the process that we followed yesterday, okay? So remember, guys, yesterday we did the first setup or the first encounter with the checkpoints and also the speed pads and the boops in the way, okay? What we did is a simple system. It's the system to actually complete the checkpoints and get some checkpoints before completing a lap. So we are going to put the players to cheat. As you see right now on the screen, guys, there is a problem with this system right now because it's incomplete and the player didn't know that it's actually passing through a checkpoint or through the lap because we didn't implement that match. So once again, the checkpoints are going to be those specific lines and we need those checkpoints to be more notorious so the player will have the option to access and see here what is going on and what is going to happen for him, okay? So quick review, we actually already completed the process and remember that every time that the player passes through a checkpoint, if the player dies or falls from the road, it's going to just reborn on that location in the last checkpoint. Okay, also remember that we set up 3 of them and if the player passed on the last checkpoint, he will be able to actually complete the lap. It doesn't matter if the player also tried to cheat by just going back to the last one and try to pass again because he needs to complete the complete lap or to finish the full lap to be able to renew the lap, okay? All right, that was the system what we did yesterday. Just by looking the triggers again, we use a simple system, okay? I just going to open again one of the triggers. So we set if the player passed through the checkpoint. For this, we need to select the checkpoint that we are going to set up by choosing the area. In this case, it's going to be the checkpoint number 1, not the 0. 0 means that is in the start point. We are going to check the first checkpoint for this. That means that if he passed on it, on the first checkpoint, and the player last checkpoint is equal to 0, which means, once again, 0 means that is going to be the initial point, as you see here. Okay, so if player just goes to the checkpoint 1 or enters in the area about the checkpoint 1, and the last checkpoint, that was the private variable, name it as a player checkpoint, is 0, that person is going to set up the checkpoint as the number 1 because we entered just to the checkpoint 1, and actually it's going to change the spawn point to that specific location, right? That's much it. It's not like very complicated in this moment. For the other points, you just have to do the same. But what we are going to do today, we are going to start in by enhancing this specific system. So just imagine that as soon as you passed through a checkpoint, and the checkpoint is a valid checkpoint, that means that is the next checkpoint that you need to pass through, we are going to make an effect and make a sound. So with that, the player is going to know that the checkpoint is activated. Also, when we pass through some specific checkpoints, we are going to give random items to the player, and also the player is going to be able to have a specific notification and effect when it passed through the lab, and the lab is going to renew the player just to continue the game, okay? For now, we are going to switch back to the presentation as we already take some time to do a quick review of the process that we did yesterday. Okay, and in the presentation, you are going to see I see. So players are waiting in the other channel, right? Okay, I should manage that too because that's going to stop our class. But don't worry, guys. This is going to be the actual full streaming, and yeah, just to continue with the process, guys. Okay, so in the screen, in the main screen, you are seeing right now. What will be the hours that I'm going to actually send you to you guys? We are going to start by, as we already complete more than 50 views, we are going to start by sending you the mini pins. If we complete more than 150 views, we are going to give also some skin cards. If we reach more than 500 views, sorry, we are going to give you a DIY mask. It's going to be a racing mask. And finally, we are going to give some shards, some mount shards, if we complete more than 2000 views, okay? Another important thing, I know that a lot of people is new on this channel and in this minicamp. Remember that if you hit on Discord, it's also in the link on the description for this video. Check in Discord, you are going to have a direct link to join to our official Discord channel for the mini-world class. This is going to be different from the official mini-world group. In the mini-world class, for the English class, we are going to just answer your basic questions. We are going to provide some codes. And yeah, it's just for improved experience with the class. So join. We already have some players on it. Once again, if you want access to the resource store or the resource center, you are going to find the basic resource for this. Once more, I prefer for you guys to create your own, but just in case you need it, there is on there, okay? So let's start with the class now. This is going to be the class number 4. Remember that in this class, we are going to cover how to set up the random items, some basic skills, and some basic scripts. All the class is going to be based on triggers and scripts. So remember that if you didn't understand very much the triggers and also the previous topics that we take in the previous class, you can just go back and check in my channel the other live views, the other live streamings, and on there you will see the previous classes, okay? Next week, we are also going to learn how to create skins, how to create a shop system, and how to test your map, and also how to balance. It's very important. Finally, we are going to learn some tricks to publish your map and make it look actually cooler, okay? All right. So let's start with the class script for dummies. I know, guys, once again, that most of you are a little bit scared by scripts. Some of you had commented to me that that looks like a science and that you believe is like starting a career. Don't worry, it's going to be easier than using scripts. You are going that using triggers. Sorry. Also, you are going to save a lot of time when you use scripts. What happened, guys, is that every trigger that you made in MiniWord is going to be transformed or converted into a script to work. So as you've seen, what actually is going to happen is that it's just another layer over the basic scripts. So it's going to take a little bit more time in take effect, and it's going to be a little bit slower. So that's why scripts are actually that very much. And also something important, guys, that is not just for the game, it's more for your life. If you learn to use scripts, you are going to learn how to program. And with that, you actually can do a lot of things. Not only for MiniWord, you can create your own application, you can create your own game, you can do a lot of things with it for your life. So I highly advise you to actually learn how to do it. So remember last class we give like a general explanation about how triggers work, about the events, the conditions, and the actions. Okay, so remember that in triggers, when you have an event, the event is going to have some parameters. As an example, if a player plays an emoticon, as the example that we do to create a horn system, the parameters are going to be the player, so it's the system is going to let us know which exactly player does the trigger. Second one is going to be the motion, and with those parameters we can have a condition and an action. And those actions and conditions are going to take those parameters to just work, okay? Switching back to the game to have a better explanation of this. Give me a second, we are going to switch to the example that we made yesterday. All right. So, right now we are going to take just the last code. It's loading, guys, just let's give the game some time to start. Okay, so switching back to the scripts, remember that yesterday we did some basic scripts here, like the speed up and the stun system. So as you see here, the event, when you add it, is going to tell us which kind of specific parameters you are going to have. As you see here, it's going to tell you parameters, players in trigger event, that means the player who actually plays the event, and event position. Just like the other one that says players in trigger event and event position. With that, we can use those events here, and the system is going to just do the magic and auto-assign the variables, okay? But if we are going to work with scripts, we cannot have that, okay? Why we don't have that? Because we have to manually explain the parameters, okay? So, just by explaining a simple script on some simple words that are going to be easy to understand, we are going to have the next thing. In events, for triggers, instead of having an event, we are going to have a function, okay? The function is going to take the event. Remember, the magic word is going to be the event, and is going to take some parameters that you can actually provide to the codes, okay? And all the group is going to be called a function, just like a trigger does. We are going to have conditions and actions that are going to take those parameters and are going to work with it. When I mean take is that if, as an example, you create here a parameter that says that is going to use a player, you can use that player in the conditions and the actions. Okay? To that part, as you see, is just almost the same as that the actual trigger does, is almost the same. The first difference is going to be that you can have multiple conditions. What I mean with that, you are not going to have to check all the conditions before starting the actions. You can do just this. You can have like first some actions, like an example. If the player run, give some effect and then check if the player is in the right condition and then kill the player. So you can change the order, and also you can have more than one condition and more than one action, of course, because in triggers you also can have some more than one action. Okay, so just imagine that you create an actual script, and it's going to have just like this. It's going to check first some conditions, then do some actions, and then check another conditions. That's totally possible in scripts, and that's why the first point is more powerful than triggers. Because in triggers, once again, switching to the game, when you are creating a game or when you are creating something in triggers, you only have the availability or the power to create one script at the time, and it's going to check only one condition, okay? So that results in that if you have to check more than one condition, you have to create more triggers. And of course, it doesn't mean that here on you cannot create more than one condition at once. I mean the order. So you always have to check first the condition and triggers to be able to execute the actions. Instead, in scripts, you can first perform the actions, then check the conditions, then do another actions. And as an example, if one of the conditions is not complete or is not correct, you can have also another options to tell the system that do another thing. Just a simple example that I can explain to you. Imagine that a player is walking over a block. If the block is a grass block, you can give the player a coin. If the block is actually a water block, you can kill the player. And you can do all of them in just one script with some specific lines, and it's going to be much, much easier. Okay? So, moving back to the presentation, let's see the next part important about these scripts. Another important part of the scripts is that actually you can call a script inside a script. What does it mean? As an example, you can create a script to check what is the location of the player, and you can execute that anytime inside another script by calling the script. Calling means to just execute the script. With that, you can save a lot of time because you don't have to create the code again for each script. You can reuse the scripts, okay? And that's going to save us a lot of time. All right? And the third and the last one that is a little bit confusing is that the script is also going to give you a return value, something that the trigger doesn't do. What does it mean? As an example, with a script, I can tell the script to return the name of the block. So I have, as an example, I can have a script to change the player name. So when the player enters to the game, I can change the name and put before the nickname, I don't know, the amount of money that the player has inside the game. And then the system or the script that I create is going to set up a variable with that specific name. So we will be able to use actually that variables as an example to, I don't know, chat in the text or in the chat box, send a message that is going to say the player X has 15 coins and the player changed the name. And we can specify which specific name is going to be changed. Also, we can use the return to get some numbers, to get some locations, to get almost any variable, okay? So on this point, now I think, guys, that you will be able to see by first look, or probably you already know, but just to let you know, we are going to check how a script looks, okay? This is going to be our first view for a specific script. And this is how a script works, okay? I know the reactions, you actually, the ones that never have been take part of it, or that never know how the script works, are going to be a lot confused because as you see, in comparison of a trigger, you are not going to see any block. You are not going to see like an interface. You are only going to see some words, okay? So we are going to do an activity. As I mentioned before, that our script is going to have some parts here. I'm going to give you 5 minutes to think about something, and you have to join some specific parts of those scripts. You have to tell me which is going to be the event, which is going to be the condition, which are going to be the parameters, and which are going to be the actions, okay? I need you guys to check and take note of it later in 5 minutes. I'm going to let you know exactly the answers, okay? So it's 6:41 in my end, in Central Time. At 6:46, I'm going to finish this process, okay? So, guys, once again, you have to join the next part, okay? So you have to tell me which one is going to be the color that match with the letter, okay? So remember, guys, only 5 minutes for this, and let's start now. Okay, guys, we have 3 minutes. So in 2 minutes, we are going to finish the activity, okay? So remember, if you have the answer, please don't comment, don't place the answer in the live chat because we want to other players also to think about it and check if they have the right solution, okay? Once again, as a reminder, you need to connect the letter with the color, okay? You have to let me know if as an example, the vent is going to be the yellow square or the green square or the blue square. And you have to do that for each one of the letters, okay? So guys, we are going to finish in 2 minutes more. So, yep. Perfect, guys. So we already complete the time. Okay, so we are going to continue. All right. So I know most of you have the right answer. I believe in you guys. And yep, as you see, it's not going to be that difficult in this point. It's a little bit confusing, of course, because it's text. It's a new kind or a new way to actually check this specific kind of system. But as you see, it's not that complicated. We have the same elements that we have for a trigger. The difference is that they are going to have a different order, okay? Very quickly, I'm going to explain. The event in triggers is going to be, or I advise you to place it in the end. This is going to be a little bit different than in triggers, and there is a reason for it. In scripts, wherever that you have or to use another part of the system needs to be at the end. Why? Because would you need to create first the trigger, and for create a trigger we need to text or just type the text that is over the green square, and then as we already have that script created, we need to add the event. So remember, guys, important things. If you are going to use any part of the code, if you are going to call a previous function, like the example, you need to place the event just after you place the complete code, okay? First part, so second part, explain a little bit more. This yellow part is going to be which actually starts or creates the function. As you see, the first part says break dirt block. That is going to be the name of the function. Remember, guys, that in triggers we have to assign a name to our trigger. Well, that's the same that we are doing here. That means that later, with just by typing break dirt block, we will be able to use this specific script, okay? As you see next to it, you are going to or just below it, you are going to see something that says pliers equals parameters dot event objects. So that means that that's how you can actually create some variables that using the parameters that the trigger is going to give you. And if you see, the blue part is going to be a condition. If you notice, it says block, that is the same name that we just placed in the last part of the yellow square, equals, that's very important, to the number 001. And then we have something that says chat system. And of course, we have inside something that says you break a solid block. That part, the orange part, is going to be the action. It's pretty simple. And if you see, that's also a function. So we are calling a function that actually sends messages. How do you know it? Because we have a name for it. As you see, the name is chat, send system message. And right after that, we have two specific parentheses. Inside of it, we have a text. That's how you actually detect that we are actually working with an action or a function. And yeah, now this is very theoretical. Let me show how it looks like to start coding here, okay? So let me switch again to mini-words. We are going to create our first script. And you are going to see how simple is it, okay? So we are going to create just the same code that we see before, that you just checked. For this, as you see in the screen, we are going to use the same interface. Instead of hitting in basics or in triggers, we are going to hit in scripts. It's going to be the same. You are going to have here in a script set. The script set is just going to do the same as the trigger set. It's just a way to group the different triggers or scripts. And here you can give a name to your group. In my case, I'm going to place class tutorial. And yeah, now inside of it, as you see, I already have some triggers created. You have next to the trigger a specific checkmark that will allow you to activate or disactivate some scripts. So if you find out, that's an example, that some of the scripts that you're going to create during the course is not working, you only have to hit here to deactivate it and try another way to do the same, okay? To create a script, as you see here, we don't have a variable interface like the previous one because the scripts are going to have different variables. Simpler, or just simply check here and create a script, and you are going to see this. Important things, guys, green means that actually is not going to work, so just hit on the trash icon and that's going to delete everything, okay? And we are going to create our first script. First, to create a script, we have to have a name for the script, okay? So we are going to start by something simple. It's a script that is going to send you in the game a message every second, okay? For this, we are going to name the script Hello World. All right, that much simple. We already start with our first script. Check this, guys. Important things here, we need to assign a value to this name, okay? So what we have to do to create a function is just plus the sign, or use the symbol or type the symbol that is equals, and then type function. As you see, guys, while I'm writing down, while I'm just typing inside the game, you are going to see that just below, there's going to be like a text here. I don't know if you're able to see it right here in the screen. Okay, let me think. Okay, it seems that mini words doesn't show the scripts on the live view. Don't worry, I have a backup plan for this. Okay, so we are going to use another system that is called and I'm going to show you later how to install this specific editor, is something to do the scripts apart from the game, okay? And yeah, let me switch to that specific um, application. It's going to be this one. All right, don't get scared. Now you're supposed to be able to see my screen, okay? Okay, guys, I'm a little bit worried because it seems that live transmission has been ended for some reason. No, I'm all right. I'm seeing right now. Okay, so guys, once again, we are going to create something that is hello world. Remember to type the name is also a variable. Remember that yesterday we learned about variables, and variables cannot have a spaces or something in the middle, okay? Remember that this is a language. So what does it mean a language? It's just by writing some words. So we don't have to use any specific program, but there is some specific programs or applications that will allow us to see better or to have some colors for the text, so it's going to be easier to use. You type the name of the variable or the name of the function that we are going to use. As an example, I type here hello world for this one. Then you need to do a space or type a space, then the number equals, and then the actual thing that your actual script is going to do. So we are going to create a function, okay? As you see, we only need to name it. Then we have to use two parentheses, and we have to tell here inside the parentheses what is going to do the script. In this case, as we don't need any specific parameter, we are not going to tap anything on there. Then, very important, we are going to tap the word end. So, what do we create with this? As you are seeing in the screen, we create our first trigger or our first script. Okay? Right now the script is not doing anything because as you saw in the example on the presentation, right now we are just creating this specific one, which actually is not going to have anything, just the function. That's what actually we create right now, okay? So now we need to add some conditions, right? We are going to do a simple condition. If, or no, I don't want to mess with conditions now. I just want to do a simple actions just for you guys to understand better. So we are going to make the game, just type a text, okay? So how did you type a text in MiniWord? In MiniWord, to type a text, you need to use a specific function. And you are guessing, guys, that probably you need to just guess what is going to be on there. Don't worry, we have a specific guide for that, okay? So remember here in MiniWord, when you actually... Okay, give me a second. We are going to ignore this. When you actually try to add some triggers, you hit on there and you have this, like the different options that you can use. On scripts, we have the same thing, but it's going to be in different parts. So this is going to be called the MiniWord API, and you can find it here. As you see in the right side of your screen, you are going to see this small square. This small square is going to be a button. If you hit on there, you're going to find this that actually is a lot of text, okay? But don't worry, it's pretty easy to understand. For now, it's a quick guide for you guys to understand the scripts. The only thing that you need to do, what you can do or what you cannot do for scripts, is hitting here. As you see, we have a specific option that says MiniWord API. An API, to understand better, guys, is just a list of functions, or in this case actions, that you can use in your scripts. On here you see different categories, different type of these commands that are going to work. For your map, as we are going to just send a message, we are going to choose the chat one. It's just organize it, and here it's going to tell you the text that you need to use. As you see here, we are going to send a chat and we have two different options. The first one is just send a chat that is actually making the player say something in the chat, and system chat or system message is just as the next to it says, is send a normal message to the players. So we are going to hit that, and as you see here we have some examples. These examples are going to be in Chinese for the text, but we don't need it, okay? So we only need to copy this part, and we are going to place it into our code. Right now, our code is going to look like this. So our code is going to have, for the actions, two parts. The name of the function that we are going to use, or the action, because this is also a function, but is one in this case is going to be used as an action inside our function. And it's, most of the times it's going to be descriptive. It's going to have the class. That means that chat is going to be the class to which actually this system belongs. And it's going to tell you in the name what it's going to do. Send a system message. And that's simple. As you see here, we have two parameters. So very important, guys. For now, I'm just going to right here. Remember, with not removing these specific symbols at the sides, we are going to type here hello world. And then, yeah, we have our first script almost over. Now, as this script is finished, it's not going to do anything because it doesn't have an event for it, okay? How we can find event? Just, guys, switch back to the mini world app, and on here, on the same screen that I take before, you are going to see here the events. As you see, there is a class or a specific guide for the events. You need to copy this specific test from here. Once you copy, you need to modify the text, okay? So I'm going to reduce a little bit the zoom, just for you guys to be able to see the information. And yeah, as you see here, it also says script, support event, register an event. The name is self-explanatory. That means that we are going to register an event. The event type is going to be game start. And here we have to adjust after this specific you have to actually choose or select the name of the script. So check this. That's correct. We copy and paste. This is the name of my function. This is the name that is going to execute, and this is what it's going to do. So if you see, it's pretty simple to read. What it's going to do is at game start, it's going to execute or just run the trigger or the script, name it as a hello world. So yeah, we already finished a simple script. Let me show you what it's going to do in game. Okay guys, so I'm going to hide this. We are going to save. We are going to play. And as you see in the top, you are going to find that it says hello world. Because this specific script, the only thing that is going to do is to send us that specific chat at the beginning of the map, okay? So what we are going to do now, we are going to go some step ahead, and we are going to edit this, and we are going to change this specific event for another one. We want the map to send us this message each second, okay? For this, once again, hit on the wiki button. Next, select this one that is grayed out, that says mini world API, select events. And on here you have also a list of the different events that we can have. As this is going to be a logic event because it's going to be the game, we are going to read and we are going to check for this specific one. Game run means when the game is running. That means that every second, every time, every tick is going to use the trigger. And let me know, we copy this, we copy the name of on the first column, and we paste it here instead of game start. And we copy our test, we paste it in miniword. Just remember, paste it is Control B, Control C. Sorry, it's Control C, Control B. And yeah, play the game and let's check this. Now, if I chat something, every second is going to just send the message again and over and over and over and over. And yeah, it's always going to run this. So as you guess, guys, if as an example, we can make a card always be moving. We only need to create a simple script with this specific system that is going to always make the player move one step ahead. And with that, as this is going to be executed always, is going to be moving, okay? So that was just a simple explanation. It's the start of our game. Now we are going to take a better look, okay? So guys, once again, we are using something that is called Lua. What does it mean, Lua? Lua is a language, just like Spanish or English, but it's made for computers. Lua is not only working for MiniWord. Lua is actually a language that can be used for a lot of things. And what is a language? Probably most of you already know what is a programming language. For you, those of you that didn't know it, this language is used to tell some instructions to the computer or the game in this case, as the example that I just showed you. So remember that we create some specific parts that we're saying some instructions. So the first instruction is to create something, the second one is to chat something, and the third one is to register something inside the code that we did before. And that's actually what does Lua. Lua, it's very important. Why? Because it's something that works in another systems. As an example, you can make your an application with Android that is it's actually going to have a specific code that is work with another programming language that is Java, and you can execute inside that specific language this one. And it's used for a lot of things. It's used for games, it's used for create some basic programs or some basic applications in your phones and computers. And so, yeah, once you learn to use Lua, you can do a lot of things. Even edit in other games, edit your own game. For this, in internet, you can find different guides and different tutorials. As an example, if you're checking my screen, I can just hit Lua, and as you see in internet, let's say programming. Okay, so if you see my screen, you can find a lot of content about it, even in Wikipedia. So that means that if you want to learn scripting, you will have a lot of websites and sites that you can take the information with that is going to explain everything from the beginning. Okay, so don't worry, also during this course we are going to learn some basics about Lua. Okay, to be able to use Lua in MiniWord or in another game, you need something in which actually you can edit the code. Okay, so for having something in which you can edit the codes, you will need something that is called an editor, okay? MiniWord has their own edition. It's the one that I showed you before. Remember this one? The one that we have right here. But to be honest, it's a little bit buggy. Actually, the actual team from MiniWord didn't recommend to edit directly on MiniWord. They advise you to actually edit in other case. So this is going to be the actual system that allows you to edit the code. But also you can have another kinds of system to actually edit those codes, okay? As you are guessing, we have using another external editor. My personal recommendation is to use a computer. Don't use a cell phone, it's going to be very hard. Okay, and if you have a tablet, it's going to be much easier, but the cell phone has some problems. The first one is too small. The screen is very small, so you won't be able to edit as it's supposed to be. The second one for this is that actually is not going to have that much applications that will be able to be capable to copy your code, to run your code. And another important thing is that MiniWord codes, MiniWord editor, actually is not the best in phone because it's not going to highlight the colors, it's not going to let you know the best way to see the information about what you are editing. So my personal recommendation, use a computer, okay? So in my case, I know that there is a lot of editors for code. My personal one is going to be Notepad++. It's actually it's very lightweight. You can install it in almost every computer. It's not going to have that much or requirements. And also it's very easy to use, okay? And I'm going to teach you how to install it, okay? Second one, if you have Android and you still want to use Android, you can choose S Field Explorer. There is a free version on it that is going to work. Actually, it's having a lot of advertising on it. I personally recommend it that if you want to edit in Android, just get the premium version. But if you can avoid that and use your computer, it's going to be much better, guys, okay? All right, so actually, if you are seeing my screen right now, you are going to see that I'm going to show you. And this is actually Notepad+. As you see here, guys, I edit most of my code here. And as you see, it's going to provide me a very easy to use interface to use it, okay? Until this point, guys, I want to be sure that you have some questions. Oh, I didn't know that. So actually, we have a cool tip or not a tip, something curious in the chat. It seems that Lua has been created in Brazil. So that actually it's something that I didn't know. Nice to know. Yes, yes, Ben, you can create some notes for the scripts. My personal recommendation is don't do it. As you already are going to have this system to read what the script does, you can access that anytime and it's going to be much easier, okay? So once again, moving back to mini words. All right, it's loading. Moving back to MiniWord, the editor is going to be a little bit buggy, so I didn't recommend it to use it, okay? So now I'm going to learn you how to install, or teach you, sorry, how to install this specific function, and it's going to be this specific software that is going to be the Notepad+. For that, I already submit some specific links in the description of this video. Also, in the official Discord group, you can find actually the direct link to get it. Also, you can do this. You just, in your Google browser, just hit Notepad+, and you're going to find the link directly to download it. The only thing that you have to do here in your computer is just take the last version. Here you can read the version, so this one is going to be the last. Just hit and download. When it's completely downloaded, execute the installer. Just as any software, just hit next, install. Something important is that you are not going to get the Lua system by default. What you have to do is each time that you create a script, like this, you need to use this bar in the top and you need to go where it says language. And on L, you're going to find Lua. If you didn't do that, probably your system is going to look like this. And as you see, the same code that we paste here is not going to have any highlight or something that shows the player how to work. So it's going to be very difficult to read. Just let me copy and paste this to show you the example. You see, guys, and also just to let you know, that's how you're going to see the code if you edit directly in the cell phone when you're using MiniWord. So as you see, here is more read out. You can read it easier because you have some colors, you have some specific highlights that is going to let you know what the code is doing. Okay, so remember, when you create a code, you need just to select in the language bar, Lua, and yeah, now it's going to look that great. Okay, so as you see, guys, that's easy to use and to edit. Okay, what we are going to do now, okay? Now we are going to start by create and import some systems. I'm going to give you some codes, guys, that I think that are going to be the basics for your map, okay? So just be with me. I'm going to show you how you can install it, okay? First, let me explain you a couple of things about the scripts. Remember in the last class, we see the difference between variables. Remember that we see that in triggers, we have some global variables and some private variables, right? Well, remember also that we have some containers for them. Remember that a variable can use any kind of container. In scripts, we are going to have something similar but different at the same time. So, instead of having a variable for your players, we are going to have something that is being called local variables. And yeah, as you see, simple, if you check very quickly, it's going to look just like the same as a private variable. But let me explain the main difference. Remember that in simple variables, we have like different containers. All right. I think, guys, you remember that, okay? That was the last class. So, for this, in a variable, in scripts is going to be different because we don't need to choose a specific container. That means that any variable can have any value. That means also that you can change the value. So as an example, you can create a variable that is going to be a text, I mean a string, and later you can change it for a creature. And later we are going to change it for a number. Also, we can set it up as a boolean, and all of them are going to work. The only important thing is that you cannot mix different containers. What does it mean? If this moment, if my variable is a string, we cannot mix it with a number because it's not going to work. It's going to give you an error. Okay, very important, take note of it. Remember that if you don't want to take note, you can just check this presentation later. So, you cannot mix them. You need to transform or convert those variables first into the same kind of container to be able to just work with them and do some operations with them, okay? So remember this, guys, the local variables and the global variables can have different containers. What does it mean? That in comparison of the global variables and the private variables in the triggers, the main difference here is that they are going to work the same. What does it mean? You can have a global variable in scripts that works for your map, as an example, the weather or the time in the game, but also you can set up that as a private variable. And the private variable, what it's going to do is that it's only going to be able to be read by the same script, by the same function that you're creating right now. So that means that, as an example, if I create something that is called coins and I set it up as a variable, if I set it up as a global variable, any part of my script can actually read and change that variable. But if I set it up as a private variable, only the main script that uses the coins is going to be the one that will be able to change and read the variables. If you try to execute something to read the coins, as an example from the code that is making the player walk, if it's a private variable, it's not going to be able to read it. And you may think why I should just avoid other scripts to read that. Well, it's just because you don't want to have that much variables, and those variables are not going to get that much memory. When you get less memory on your game, it's going to run faster. And yeah, as it doesn't need that much memory, it's going to be more efficient, okay? So now, a quick activity, guys. I just need you to think about it. Remember that yesterday we did this specific process that was just to try to check which is which variable. Okay, guys. So right now we are going to do the same, but we are going to take 5 minutes just to see which one is which. So I need you to take a piece of paper, very important. Remember that if you take a piece of paper, you will be able to check the answers that I'm going to provide you with yours. And just to let you know, I did a little bit, or I make this question or this activity a little bit tricky, so you have to think a little bit about it. You are going to read which name has the variable, and you are going to let me know if it's a global variable or a local one, okay? So guys, remember we have 5 minutes to check that. We are going to start now. And right now it's 7:17 in my end. You have to complete the process. Let's give you some time until the 20:22 722 it's going to be okay. Okay, guys? So, yeah, let's start with it. Remember to think about it, take note of it, it's very important. Okay, guys, remember that we left 2 minutes more, and yeah, I think most of you already know the answer. Please don't type the answers in the chat. That's very important. We don't want all the players to, or actually, we want all the players to have their own answers, so they will be able to check. Okay, so let's wait a little bit. In 2 minutes more, we will be able to know the answer. And just to let you know again, it's a little bit tricky, so just think about it. Okay, guys, so we are finishing the activity. So, um, if you want to now just type in the chat what are going to be your answers. And yeah, as if you, well, let me tell you this, guys. If you choose for any of those variables, if the variable is a variable that is going to be a local or a global variable, let me tell you that actually, congratulations, you are doing it bad. That's right, guys. So remember that for the last class, we will be able to know if a variable it was a private or a global, but for the scripts, we don't have that difference. So a live variable can be a global or can be a local. You can choose any of them and it's going to be okay, okay? That depends more of how you want to make the code react and read the variables, but it can be any of them, okay? So very important, guys, remember for scripts, we don't have that difference as we have on triggers. You can choose any of them. You can set the skin as a global variable or just as a local, also the position, also the coins, also the life. So yeah, I told you guys that this is going to be a little bit tricky, okay? So let me just provide you the first scripts and let me show you how we can import some scripts to our map, okay? So we are going to start by just creating a full screen of mini words. Let me switch here also some specific features, and right now you're supposed to be able to see my screen, and you're supposed to be able to actually see my mini word, okay? So let's start by importing some scripts to the map that we are going to create. Important things, guys, I left some scripts for you, so I need you to open this website. The website that I'm going to open is just as a small repository, something that I create just for you to have the codes. You only need to access, select the code, and copy and paste it, okay? Give me a second here. I'm still looking for it right now to be able to give you those specific codes, okay? So, all right, I already got it. So let me show you. Okay, guys, this site is going to be this one, okay? So, also this site is also in the description for the video, okay? So you will be able to actually copy the scripts. If you are not able to find the scripts, let me try to put these scripts on the chat. Most of the times we won't be able to, but I just want to be sure that you have all the information, okay? So yeah, it seems that in the chat is going to work. So check the chat now. I already placed the link. And what we are going to do in this link, you are going to find here some different blocks or some different scripts that I create for you. We are going to just create or start by the most simple one. And it's that we are going to just implement a test system in your map. What is a test system? A test system is something that allows you to check if what you are doing in the scripts is working or not. Why? Because as a difference between, as an example, your codes or your programmation into the trigger section, in this, actually you're not going to get any message. And that is the tricky part about triggers. Most of the times you really don't know if the trigger is going to work or if the code that you are going to create is going to work unless you test. And what is going to do this system? This system is going to just let you know what did you have done and if it's working or not, okay? What do you have to do? And this is the best part about the scripts. This scripts is going to take, if we were making it on triggers, probably we will take hours of work because you have to redo it. For scripts, you only need to select everything. You can just hit on the top, be sure that you copy everything from the top to the end, then hit copy. Now we are going to move to the screen of mini words. You are going to access to the developer tools on the top. Then you are going to select scripts. Then you are going to add a new script. You are going to use the trash icon to delete everything that is on it. Then you are going to paste. And as you see, guys, we already have the script on here. And you can save it. Also, don't forget, just like I show you or I advise you guys to do it into the trigger section to rename your scripts. That's very important because when you get a lot of codes, you are going to be a little bit lost if you don't do it. And that's it. We have our first script imported, okay? So remember again, guys, the only thing that you need to do is to access to the chat here and copy and open the link that I just put you in the notes, in the chat. And yeah, when you copy that link and you see the test system, you are going to access to it and copy and paste. And let me show you why, okay? On here I already have some systems created, but let me show you why we are going to use the test system. Because with this, if we didn't know which exactly variable is it, or we can create some messages, and just by typing in the text or in the messages mode or test mode on or off, we will be able to switch or change if we are going to receive some feedback about what we are doing. So let me show you as an example. This takes a little bit of time to implement. So let me show you as an example this specific map that I already create. Okay, so when you are in play mode with this code that I shared with you guys, you will be able to do this. Let me show you. Okay, so right now you are not seeing any text. Even if I use abilities like double jump or some skills, you are not going to see any feedback. But also, yeah, also let me show you this, guys. If I try to start the game, it's going to tell me that I need at least 2 players to start the game, correct? Okay, so with the system that I just sent you guys, if I hit here or if I just type in the chat box test on, it's going to activate the test mode, and now it's going to show you the feedback of most of the things that you are going to do. Okay, also you can set up later, but as an example, I just set up this button to only work for less than 2 players if you are in test mode. That is going to be this one. And now as you see, in the chat box you can see that I getting some feedback about what my scripts are doing. Okay, so it's telling me that it teleports the players to the location. Also, it's telling me that the players are going to pick up some items. And basically, you can test with this what you are doing with the codes. Okay, so second one, important too. Okay, and let me show you here. I think I have it activated. The second script that I'm going to share with you guys is a command system. And what is a command system? Is something that will allow you to do some basic scripts. Oh, as you see here on the top on the chat box, also I have the test system on this specific screen. And what the command system is going to tell us or allow us to do is to create some commands in the chat box. So as an example, if I want just to know in which location I am, so I'm just going to type X, Y, Z. And as you see in the chat box, with the command system, I'm going to get the exact location. So this is very useful because as an example, if I want to move to a specific location to edit my map, I just can type the coordinates. So let's say I'm going to teleport to the coordinate 0. On health is going to be 15, and in X is going to be 0. And that's it. As you see, I get teleported to that location. Also, you have some basic commands like know which item did you have in the hand. Just tap as an example the number plus item ID, and it's all going to tell you the exact number. Right now, also, this system will allow you to just do some nice things. As an example, you can set up some commands that only the creator of the game is going to be able to use. If a player that joins to the game is try to use that commands, it's not going to allow the player to create those. Also, you have some specific commands that only the host of the game is going to be able to use. With that, as an example, if someone else creates your game and you can use some commands inside another person's game, without having to host your own game, okay? And yeah, you have some permissions. You can choose an admin for the game. You can choose premium users. You can choose also normal users. And yeah, as I note, for now it has some basic commands. Later, I'm going to submit a tutorial about how to add your own commands to it, okay? Once again, for you guys to be able to have this system, we are going to just go again to the website that I place in the comments in the chat, open this specific website, and on there you are going to have all the systems. There's one that is going to say command system, correct? Again, you copy everything. Be sure that you have to copy everything until the last part. And here, the last part is going to be this specific word that says end. Just go to your map, the map that you are creating right now. Just open again the developer tools, create a new script, delete everything with trash can icon, paste the script, and it's already working. Now, as this is going to teach you how to set up some basic scripts that you can share or you can get from other users, most of the good writing skills are going to have this section. As you see here, I'm going to copy this and I'm going to use the other code editor because it's going to have a better view because you are going to be able to see better the code. I can change the size of it. There is going to be an initial setup and some explanation about the codes that we have here. But just for this part, okay? So in your own map, you are going to do the next thing if you want to implement this code also. You can choose by this first line if you want to have this code activated at the beginning. So anytime you only by changing this, you can change by false. That means that false is not going to be activated. This system is going to be turned off, and just to turn them back on, you have to change this for true, okay? For make the system working, and as you want to be the admin, you have to place your nickname here. So in my case, it's going to be my name in game. Remember that you can choose your name, but important things, the uppercase, the lowercase needs to be the same, okay? And finally, you have a good integration that is going to be this. This is the prefix that you're going to use to do a command. So as an example here on the game, let me show you. If I chat anything in the chat, and if I use another kind of icon, it's not going to do anything because the system only detects the commands when you place a plus symbol on it, okay? Let me show you. As an example, I place the plus symbol and I hit clear on the screen. If that command exists, it's going to tell me that exists and it's going to execute it. If it doesn't exist, it's going to just tell me that doesn't. So check this. You're going to hit plus clean and that's it. As you see, clean the screens. And yeah, and that's simple. Okay, so you can choose if you want to use the commands by a plus symbol or, as an example, a minus symbol. Okay, and that's why you have this specific. So as you see, guys, this is very simple to edit. Okay, the only thing that you need to do is to change these first 3 lines apart from the green part. And with that, you are going to have your system ready. And you don't need to know exactly what it's doing because it's going to be automatic added to your game. Be sure that this is, once again, your exact name in game. It has to have the same spaces, same uppercases, same symbols. And that's it. Just save and have it. And now, the most important one, those are just like some basic systems, but the most important one for this game, I know, guys, that you want to have just your turbo system, right? It's something that you can use to play the turbo, just like I did in my game. Remember this? Let me show you. Let me show you in game how it works, okay? And the most funny part of this is that you only need to copy and paste the script. You don't have to do that much. That's it, okay? So let me show how it works. In my game, the game that we are going to use as an example, you have this specific hunger bar and you can use it as a turbo. Just as this example, let me show you. As you see, when you play the turbo, you are going to increase the speed and you are going to be faster, right? And if you try to use the turbo when there's no food or enough hunger, it's going to tell you that it's not possible, that you need to have or wait a little bit more. And yeah, when you have it completed, it's going to allow you to increase the speed, okay? Also, the script that I'm going to bring you for free, guys, is going to have this effect. As you see, when you move in the screen, it's going to have like a speed effect around the screen. And yeah, for this, once again, we are going to just, for you guys, have this completely clear. Just go to the site. You are going to select the one that says Card Easy System, okay? Oh, sorry, that's not the one. We are going to choose the one that says Turbo System, okay? On Turbo System, we are going to just do the same. We are going to copy everything. And we are going to go to the map that we were creating. We are going to access to the game. And yeah, we are going to select Developer Tools. On here, we are going to select to create a new script. We are going to delete everything. We are going to copy and paste the code. Now you're going to save it. You are going to rename it because it's important. As you see, guys, right now I forget to rename the previous scripts and it's a little bit confusing. So give a proper name to your script. And the system is going to be ready. Right now it's not going to do anything because we haven't set it up like the first parts, but it's already implemented in your map, okay? What we are going to do to implement it, okay, guys, take note of this. We are going to just go to this section where it says Turbo, and we are going to do those different things, okay? First one, we are going to change the information here. It's some basic setups. You can add or have less speed. Just remember to change the numbers here. As an example, if I have I want to have a little bit more of turbo time, you only need to increase that number. But important things, guys, to make it work, just change where it says lobby, and in uppercase you have to type playing. And probably you are going to see at the beginning it's going to be not the best way because it's not going to do anything. And that's why, because we need to create first the buff, okay? So, guys, pretty simple. We are going to move to the plugin section in your map. Just hit on the map, and in the left corner you are going to find some icons. There's one that says actually plugin editor. You are going to access, you are going to select the status, okay? And welcome back. Now you are seeing me again. On the status, you are going to create a new status. Remember the last class that we create a fast buff? Well, now we are going to create something similar. This time we are going to edit, and it's very important, we are going to edit the one that says jump. So if I'm not wrong, this is going to be jump level 1. It's just going to search. You probably are going to have different icons for it because I already changed most of them. But remember, the jump icon is going to be right here. Just hit on the jump icon, the jump level 1. It's very important. Change the name, and in my case, it's going to be Turbo. Change the description. Once again, you can choose a specific icon, just like we did yesterday. For the effect, try to choose a smoke terry. It's the best that fits for me. For the sound, you can choose any sound. As you see the effect just in the screen, you are going to see that it matches with the one that we create. On here, very important, you are going to delete everything because you are going to have some effects here. Once you have no effects here, you're going to select the one that says speed, and just like yesterday, we are going to increase 20% of speed. Remember that mini words use different kinds of speed, so we are going to select 20 for the basic speed, 20 for the running speed, and 20 for the sneaking speed. You are going to save it, then you are going to search for the specific buff that we create. Remember that it's going to be a white one, and remember it's very important for this system, it needs to be the same. That means that we need to use the jumping buff as base for creating this. Right now, the system already has the turbo, but we need still have to have some registers for it to make it work, okay? Important, we are going to move back to triggers and we are going to create a new variable, okay? It's going to be a global variable, okay? Remember, we can switch here to private to global. Be sure that you are in the tab that says global. You are going to create a new variable. On variable type, you are going to select value, and the value is name is going to be game running. Important things, we are going to use only an n. Don't use two n's here, just running with one n. The default value is going to be 0. Once you have saved that specific variable, we are going to switch back to the turbo system. Okay, we are going to just, let me see what is doing this one. Okay, oh, all right. Good, so our mini word just broke down. And yeah, let me comment what we did, okay? So did you see that we create a variable that says game running? That's the way that we are going to know that the player is already playing. So later we are going to create with triggers, not with the scripts, with triggers, a system that will allow the player to know exactly where, if the game has been started, and that's why or how we are going to start the game, okay? So while we are waiting just some minutes until the map loads again, okay? Yeah, it seems that something crashing on mini-words. Sometimes that happens, okay? So that's, as you see, very important. That's why we most of the times are going to use an external editor, okay? Because most of the times the game can have those problems and you don't want to just have your script loads, okay? So remember, always try to work directly in the external editor. You can use Notepad+, the one that I showed you how to install. And something cool about this specific code editor, the one that I showed you before, is that the code is going to be saved as soon as you change it. So if there's something happens like this, it's going to be auto-save it, so you are going to be able to recover the code. All right, let's move again to scripts. Now, I remember that this one that was the problematic one. All right, that actually doesn't have anything. So moving back to the turbo one, okay, so let me show you. Yeah, as you see here, we are going to manually set this variable to true, okay? So what we are going to do, we are going to create a new script. For now, remember that this is going to be a temporal script. It's just for you to be able to start the game. Change the name for it as game start. Correct. We are going to create an event. The event is going to be game logic, and we are going to wait in game time when we have 15 seconds in game time. We are going to start the game. And for this, the only thing that you need to do is to set up assigned, change the value here. The value is going to be changed from to game running, and from 0 it's going to be changed to 1. Okay, give me a second. I need to confirm that the name match. All right, yes, game running, number 1, and then hit play mode. So the game is going to take some seconds to start. You should be able to use the running button right now, but as soon as the time is 15 on the game, oh, actually I think I did something wrong, guys. Sorry for that. I remember now that that is not the time that you have to wait in game. It's actually the time for the actual hour of the game. Okay, let's hit something simple. Let's choose if the player enters an area, and the area is going to be the starting point that we choose. Remember that we create the initial point, so We're going to select the initial point. We are going to change game running as number 1. So right now, I will be able to jump and I will be able to use everything. But if I pass just in the starting point, I will be able to use the turbo, as you see, and it's going to work. And now, as you see, something important for the car game, I won't be able to jump. So as you see, in less than 15 minutes, we will be able to set up or import a system, a complete system. Okay, probably we can improve the effects very quickly because this one is not that notorious. And remember that you want the player to know that actually is playing the turbo. That's very important. So we are going to change this effect, okay? We are going to choose a smoke one. And yeah, let's use this one, smoke 17. Now we should be able to have a better effect for it, okay? So check now. Once again, we will be able to use the space to jump, and we won't be able to actually use the turbo because we need to just passing through this specific frame, the starting frame, to be able to activate the system. And right now, yeah, as you see, there is some smoke under me, and yeah, we have the turbo system fully working. I see you are not seeing the screen right now. Let me do a double check. Okay, yes. For some reason you are not seeing the screen now. Let me check now. Now you should be able to use the screen, right? Okay, yeah, truly sorry for that, guys. Let me start over. It seems that when the mini world crash is actually not allowing me to share the screen anymore with you with the normal system. So, guys, once again, or let me start over. Simple things that we create, we access to mini words. We access to the map that we create, correct? Until that part, I think you will set up. What we did, this was just to access to the script section, and we just import this system. Okay, guys? So we import the turbo system, we copy and paste, that's it. To start the system, what we did actually was to just go in here to the trigger section, and we create a new trigger. I'm going to create it again, okay? And so we add the new trigger, we rename it as starting game. Okay. We add a new event that was player and was moving one block side. So let's choose enters arena, okay? We choose the arena and we are going to choose the initial point. Okay, and in the initial point, then we are going to do an action and we are going to assign. We're going to assign a value setup, that means a value variable that is going to take a number. We are going to use the variable, the global variable that we create, that is game running. Remember to just type it like you are seeing on the screen. Game with the first one in uppercase and in just one word, running 2, but it's going to be the first letter with the uppercase and with just one N. Okay? Then you are going to set this specific one as number 1. Then we are going to close it, and then we are going to play the game. Right now, as you see, I can jump, I can do anything, but as soon as I passed through this frame, I won't be able to jump, and I will be able to use the turbo system. Okay? Why I designed the system like that? Because remember, guys, that you don't want to be in the lobby waiting for the players and getting some cool items in the store, in the game store, and then starting by moving around with turbo and not be able to be jumped. So with this, in any time that you want it, you can start the game and you can start the process, okay? As you see, the system is working full now. And now we are going to start to the next part of the class, guys, okay? So, Right now, let me know. You're supposed to be seen in my screen, but I just want to be sure it's a presentation. Just let me check in the chat. What we are going to do is we are going to create some simple systems. First, we are going to create a script to become invisible, okay? That means that no players are going to be able to see you. Then we are going to create a script to get some extra speed and with the turbo system. And finally, we are going to create a system to teleport your player to the part where he's looking at, okay? Once again, those are going to be simple systems. We are not going to take that much time, okay? So now I'm going to switch back to mini-words. And in mini-words, let me start the process. First, we are going to do the visible power, okay? And how it's going to work, we are going to create a status, okay? For creating the status, we are going to switch here in the plugin editor. This time we are going to create a totally new status to make the player become invisible. You are going to hit edit here, or actually we are going to create a new one. Then we are going to create a totally or completely new status. Name it as invisible. Choose an icon for it. My favorite one for this kind of effects is this one. You can choose whatever you want. The special effect is the effect that is going to be just launched when you start invisibility. So let's choose this one. Don't forget to choose a cool sound for it. For now, as we are just doing a demonstration, I'm going to choose the basic script, the basic or the default sound for its skills. And yeah, let's give a cooler name, optical cloak. Okay, choose a description for it. And yeah, we have the first part in effects. That is the most accurate part or the best part. Guys, very important. You are going to select two effects. The first one is going to be the model volume. We are going to change the body size to 0, I mean minus 100. Remember, not 100, minus 100. That is going to reduce the size of the shadow for the player, so the other players are not going to be able to detect the player by the shadow. Select against model model volume and select the head also to change it to minus 100 to be sure that all the head and the body is going to be smaller than the normal player. Then we are going to select special effect again and we are going to change the mode. Okay, on change the mode we have two options. Back view when converting, very important, that needs to be activated. Actually you also can choose not to activate it, but remember, if we change the model and the player needs to know that it's invisible, we need to just show the player that, and just by moving the camera back, is going to let the player know that it's invisible. And hold can use items when it's converting. That's going to actually avoid the player to use items when it's invisible, because that's not going to be that much fair for the other players. And yeah, you just can keep this specific model as a chicken, or as another one, whatever you want to choose. I just keep in chicken to get easy. Now you are going to just choose the time whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Positive status needs to be selected. Priority is going to be covered. All of the three switchers needs to be off. And we have our first buff to just set up an invisible skin, okay? Remember that we are just going to do the setups to start creating the easy script system to add this specific skill, okay? Now, what do we need to do now? We have the optical cloak. Now we are going to create a quick item just to be able to use it, okay? So just add an item as you already know how to do it. Very quickly change that to the name that actually you want to provide the item. Okay, now we are going to change the description. For now, as we are just doing a demonstration, I'm not going to put something important. I'm just going to delete it, okay? Select the item model. In attributes, in skills, you are going to hit here and you are going to select to, well, as we don't want to actually do a normal buff, we are going to To do it by the scripts, we are going to do a dummy skill. What is a dummy skill? It's something that it actually is not going to do anything, but is show the effects to the players, okay? For this, as we are going just to do a dummy skill, we are going to select React Locked or Attacked. Let's select Attacked. On here, as this skill is not going to do anything, it's just going to be able to make the player or the system have some skills, the item itself. We are going to make it as a not important item. That means that it's not going to do any damage, it's not going to knock out the players, it's not going to blow up the players. We are going to change this as whatever you want. For in my case, as I just going to do a demonstration, I'm going to keep as a not charge mode. Cooldown is going to be 0. Let's do it on 0. And it's going to be only for single player. As you know probably know now, guys, it's not going to do anything. If we use the item, it's just going to show an effect, but nothing is going to happen. Okay? Very quickly, let me show you. All right, so check this. As you see, the item is not doing anything, and I can use it all the time. Okay? What we are going to do now? We are going to start by setting up the skill for this one, okay? So, we are going to need to actually create a new script. So switch to the screen window, create a new trigger set because it's going to be important to have everything separate. Change the name for the script set. We are going to change it to skills. We are going to create a new script. We are going to delete everything, and we are going to start by creating our first skill. Once again, we are going to give a name. We are going to say skill optical cloak, right? Then we are going to use the symbol I equals. Then we are going to choose function. As you see while I'm writing in mini word screen, you're going to be able to see that it's predicting what I'm going to tell me or to tell the system, and it's going to show me some words that we can use to know what options we have to choose the system, okay? For now, we are going to choose function. Then we need to do the parentheses. And very important in scripts, to let the system know where it's going to end reading this, you have to choose the option end here. Okay, it's very important. Remember, each time that you place a function, you need to tap end. And our code is going to be inside those two parts, the part that says end and the part that says function. Okay, that's very important with the tab key. The tab key is the one that you can see up to the block majus key. We can just create some specific spaces to look our code look much clearer. Now we are going to just start by coding, okay? So we have to give a name to our parameters. My best recommendation is just choose a simple name. As an example here, I just choose E from event. Instead of placing event here, I'm going to place E. With E, I'm going to know that is an event, okay? Important here, on the developer website here, you are going to find the different options. So we are going to choose the event for it. The event is going to be when the player uses an item, okay? So when you hit on the mini words app options, for the codes, you are going to have the event system, and on here you have more options. You are going to select player. On in player, you are going to see the different options that we have, okay? Very important, you can copy this specific line just right here to be able to add a generic event that we are going to change. Remember the one that says script support event. Every event needs to have this line to make this system works. Now we are going to look on the list on the first column what we want to do, and we want to have an event when the player uses an item, okay? So on here you will need to look. Sometimes it's a little bit confusing, but you should be able to find here. Okay, collide, consumes an item, discards an item. Okay, here it is, uses an item. Once again, we are going to change the information that is here inside the text, right here. We are going to choose, just copy and paste this section into here. We are going to change the name. Remember that this event is going to be named as a skill optical cloak, and here it's going to have the same name. It's very important that the name match. And now, important things, I'm going to let you know how you can read this. So the first column is going to be the actual function, the actual event. The second one is what is going to do that event. And this one is going to be the parameters that you are going to use. In this case, we have event object ID. Where is that one? And we are going to copy that one. That one is going to be the player. So remember, event object ID is going to be the player. So the second one that we will need, as we need to know the player and the item that the player use, is going to be at item ID, okay? So we are going to just do the same. Copy from here, item ID. And very important, we need to place the name of the parameter here. So as I place E here, we need to place E, then a dot, and then the name of the parameter. So as an example, if I were placing here event as name of the parameters, I should change this E for event, because if I don't do that, it's not going to work, okay? So remember E, because it's going to be easier to read. And right now we are taking two specific things, the player and the item ID. But this is a little bit confusing. So what we are going to do, we are going to create our first variable. So remember, guys, that we have global variables and also local variables. Well, we are going to rename the variables, the parameters, with a local variable. To create a local variable, the only thing that you need to do is to type local. As you see, it's going to be highlighted in color blue. Then we need to choose the name of the variable. The name of my variable is going to be player. Player ID. That means the ID of the player. Then we are going to select equals. And after the equals, we are going to assign the actual value for the variable. So as I mentioned before, with scripts, you don't have any specific container. I can say 0 or 100 or whatever number, or I can choose to give a name to the variable. As an example, Mike. You see, so Mike is going to be the value of the variable for now, or you can choose whatever you want. In this case, as we want a player, and the event, the E here, is providing us already the player, we are just going to copy this. So remember, it's just the parameter name that we have here in the mini word API options. And before it, you need to place the name of the parameters and the dot on it, okay? Now, to the item, as I don't want to use an E every time and I just want the things easier, we are going to rename the variable. We are just going to select item and then equals, and we are going to copy again this. All right, right now we have the first part of our code. We are taking or letting the system know that we have an event here and a function for this event. So it's just like we were making this part of the process, like we were making just creating an event that is going to take the player, okay? So doing all the things that I did is just to doing like the same thing like I would just choosing here using a prop, okay? So let me choose that one. Okay, I don't remember where is it right now, but let's say consume an item. So all the things that I did is just create those parameters and the event for it, okay? Now, moving back to our skill, we are going to set up our first condition. And what condition we are going to choose? Okay, guys, so remember this. We want to know exactly which item the player uses. We don't want the system to execute this with any item, okay? Just when he used the item that we just create. For this, you have here some specific options on the top. So if you want to insert a quick condition, you have here some specific options. As you see, we also have the option to just add a function complete, as an example here, you see. It's just the same process that we did before. So you don't have to remember that part. And for conditions, we have here when it says process or create a process statement, there's one that says if statement, okay? And that's going to create a basic condition. If the condition is true, then execute this, okay? We are going to copy this. We are going to paste it here. All right. And now we need to give the specific condition because the system is not doing anything. As you see, it's just like using any English or any language. Is if a conditional, if something happens here, then do this. Okay, remember also that it has the ends at the end. That means that it's going to execute everything that is going to be in between the end and then when we execute the code. For the conditions, we are going to use the variable. So if item, it's equals, very important, guys. When you are going to create a condition here, you need to use the symbol equals, okay? If the item is equals to, okay, so what we are going to use there. Remember in triggers, we can use like the item directly. Well, that item is going to have also a variable. It's going to have a number. Just imagine your ID or your father's security number. It's something that identifies the subject, okay? And we have also the same thing here. You only need to hit here where it says ID library. On there, you are going to have a scroll down menu and you need to select item. When you select that, it's going to show you the different items that you have. On there, when you create a new item, it's going to be in custom. Actually, you can choose any of them, but you know, as we create a custom item, we are going to use that one. If you hold up the mouse over it, you are going to find actually the number. You see that it says optical cloak and ID 4097. That's the ID. As you see here, it's inserted in it right here, the number, okay? So as you are going to see the number in there, we will be able to actually complete the process. So right now, what we have is just the same, that if at this trigger, we add something that is going to be the item, okay? So we select here, determine which item type is going to just be here, item equals, and the item, and we are going to do the same, just to show you like the comparison about how it works, okay? All right, optical cloaked. And this specific part is just going to be the same that we just create here on the script until this point, okay? Now, what we are going to do, we are going to do some cool effects to the game, okay? So first, we are going to add the buff. Remember, guys, that we need to add the buff that we create. So for this, we are going to look here in Wiki. We are going to scroll down where it says mini words API. Then we are going to select player or actor. And on here, you are going to have a list of all the actions that we can do for the player. As an example, you see here that we have one that says add a buff. And it's going to have this, okay? It's going to explain everything about how it works. And let me explain to you how it works, okay? If you copy and paste at this line that is going to be the old function, you are going to notice, again, the category, the function, and some numbers, all right? How do you know which number is it and what it's going to do? If you read right here, you're going to see what it's going to do. So the first number, it's in the same order, is going to have an object ID, and it's going to be a number. Always, if you see an object ID, it's going to be which person, which player, which creature is going to be executed with. And also, if you see here, also the developers create comments for each one. So as an example, the first parameter is the ID of the creature. So if we want to add to the player that actually use this trigger, we already have that here. Remember that we named that variable or the player that is going to use this script here. So we are going to just copy and paste. So as we already have it here. That's it. We already select the player. So one is going to be executed into the player. The second one is going to be the buff ID. So the buff ID is going to be also right here. So you select those two parameters and you go here in the ID library, and under you have also the buffs here. So we need to choose the one that we select. Something important, guys, just hold over it and you are going to see a number about which ID is it. So as you see here, it says 8001. 8 is going to be the actual buff, so the buff slowdown is going to be the number 8. The last 3 digits always are going to be the level of this specific buff. So if you see, level 1 is going to be 801 or 8001, sorry. The second one is going to be 8002, and the third level is going to be 8003. And that happens for all the buffs. As you see, it's the buff number 33, and this is the level 1, buff number 33, level 2, and yeah, everything works like that. But for custom buffs, this is a little bit trickier, because on custom buffs we are going to have this number. As you see, it's going to be a larger number. We only need to do the same logics. If this number is going to have that much numbers, the first numbers are going to be just the basic one, that is going to be 50,000, sorry. And the last 3 digits are going to be the level. So if you hit here, it's going to show you this. You can use the same one or you can change it also. So the correct way will be to remove the 3 digits here. And for the level, that is going to be the third parameter, you are going to choose level 1. So that's going to be the same that placing all the number. Instead of that, you only need to place 5,000 and the number 1. The last one is going to be the amount of ticks, or the amount of time that is going to last with this trigger. Okay, with this specific buff, okay? So what we have to do? If you choose 0, it's going to be a buff that is going not to be removed from the player, okay? So if you want to place, as an example, 1 minute, you can choose around 30 or 20. That's going to increase the amount of time that you are going to have this. For this skill, I'm going to just try with 60 seconds. Okay, let's see what happened when we place 60 seconds. And right now, we have our first skill. Of course, this skill is a basic skill. It's not having right now any like special thing. Let's check how it works, okay? So let me show you. Yeah, as you see, guys, now we are invisible. And as you see, it lasts not that much, okay? Why? Because we only choose 60 seconds, okay? And as you see, players will still be able to see a little light, a little small dot moving around. So we are going to complete our skill very quickly. For this, we are going to use the model editor, okay? So let me show you how you can create an invisible player. Okay, so the only thing that you have to do is to use this specific model editor, not the other one, or you can choose any of them actually. You're going to choose from here. Oh, it's taking a little bit. So you're going to choose simple creature or simple shaped. You select the body and you have an option here to hide the body, okay? Oh, sorry, it's not this one, sorry, that was my mistake, it's actually this one. Yeah, so guys, you select this, you open it, you create a new model. Okay, you can choose simple creature, and what you're going to do is hit here where it says like the different options. You are going to hit hide, and that's it. As you hide this creature, when you create invisible player, is not going to have any model. And what we are going to do is just create a new creature with that model. Remember that we choose chicken in the status, so we are going to add a new chicken. I already have it modified, but yeah, the only thing that you need to do is to edit the chicken, and in the model, you are going to choose the model that you just create. That is going to be this one. And that's it. You are not going to be able to see the creature. On there, you confirm that actually the effect is just making to the chicken. And then you play the game. And let me show you now, the player is not going to be visible. Okay, let me show you. We need to have the item again because I deleted from my menu. All right. As you see, right now we are just a small shadow that is going to be harder to see. Now, of course, this lacks a lot of effects right now because we need to improve it in the future. Just to give you a very like a example about how it can look, let me show you what you can do actually with this specific skill. So let me show you here. We are going to move away from here. Okay. So here we are going to place like something that we can use to quickly get that item because yes, the items are going to be random. Imagine that we have to pause a lot of or use a lot of laps before we get the right item. So let me show you here. The invisible item is going to be this one. So check this. It's the other side actually. Yeah, it's the other side. Okay, let's put it on here. Let's add it. Let's play. Okay. So let me show you the item. And as we are going to learn in the next class how to add those effects, as you see, it takes better effects when you improve it a little bit, okay? And also we are going to learn how to do some other basic systems. And I'm also going to share the code with you too in the next class. So you are going to just to have to set up some basic skills, okay? I think the class already takes a long time, so let me show you what you can actually do after you learn some scripts, so you will be able to actually check the actual or how powerful is this tool, okay? Most of those skills that you're going to see are not going to be able, or actually they can be made with triggers, but there's going to take a lot of work. Some of them actually are not going to be able to make because we are going to use something more advanced for the next class. So, oh, I pressed the wrong button, so let me start again. So as an example, with triggers, you can do some basic skills too, like the one that we made. The good thing about these specific functions that we are going to do with scripts is that you can only copy and paste, as I showed you before, guys, and with that you are going to have that imported in your system. So let me show you some quick or fast events that you cannot do with triggers and that actually you can do with the scripts, okay? Let me show you a couple of things. Okay, so first one, as an example, you can make a gun that can follow your actual aim point. As you see, I can manage, or I can't just select where this item is going to hit, and that's something that you can do very easily with triggers. And I'm going to share the code with you. As an example, you can do skills like this, that is modifying the actual items, like the boomerang, and you can do some stress skills like the one that you see. Also, you can play with blocks. As an example, you can actually delete some blocks and then wait some seconds until they disappear. And those things are things that are not going to be easy to do at the beginning, but later you will be able to use it very quickly, okay? So important things, guys. Remember, again, once more, I'm going to switch to the presentation again. Remember that all the information that I show you and all the links are going to be in the description of the video, also in the Discord channel. So go ahead and experiment, copy and paste the different items that we have in in this specific link that I showed you guys. Give me a second. Yeah. And this specific one site, so you will be able to play with them. Also, if you want to check, go ahead and check the other examples that I have here. As an example, this one that is going to be the random items. You can play by changing the variables, and you will be able to to just get a little bit of overview for the next class. Important things, guys, are remember that if you need to get a little bit more of knowledge, I highly advise you to search for some tutorials about Lua. With that, you are going to take actually some steps ahead, and yeah, you only need to tap on YouTube for in any part some Lua basic tutorial, and you are going to find a lot of content in any language also for this, okay? And yeah, don't forget also to save this video, so later if you want to just go back some steps and read some information about the class of today, we will be able to do it. So I have to move a little bit the class. So because we as you see, this topic is a little bit extensive. So for the next class, I also going to cover a couple of things that we cannot cover in this class. And for the next class, we are going to move some topics, okay? Don't worry, in the next class, we also are going to learn how to create or how to finish the process about the previous triggers to make the game play. And important things, also if you add to the Discord channel, I'm going to submit some extra tutorials on the Discord channel and in this channel. So just depending to the actual subscription, you can subscribe on this channel and you can access to the Discord channel, okay? And that's it for now, guys. If you have any question, remember that we have this channel and also we have the Discord channel. So don't forget to tell me if you need some help on there. And yep, have an excellent day, and we already finished the class. Okay, guys? Oh, I was forgetting this. We are going to take some 10 minutes extra to play. So if you want to access and play with us, please search my UID. You can find the UID right here. It's going to be, yeah, this one. And with that, we are going to be able to play. So have an excellent day, and thank you so much for assisting the class. Bye-bye.